Based off the sci-fi novel All You Need Is Kill by Japanese author Hiroshi Sakurazaka, Edge of Tomorrow takes place in the not-too-distant future where an alien invasion has begun that has consumed a large portion of Europe. Humanity's last hope in containing the extraterrestrial threat is by sending in troops wearing a new form of pretty awesome-looking exosuits. Tom Cruise comes in as Major William Cage, a man who admittedly has never been in actual combat and pretty much wants to keep it that way. Unfortunately for him, he winds up getting drafted anyway, kicking, screaming, and finally tased in the process. With no skill or proper training, Cage is strapped into a mech suit and flown over to the beaches of France to fight the enemy head-on, and without going into too much detail, he dies almost immediately in combat and quickly comes back to start the day all over again. Kinda like that one Bill Murray movie, I can't quite put my finger on it. Ghostbusters. Anyway, the more he keeps reliving the same day, he eventually comes into contact with Emily Blunt's character, Rita Vratoski, a hard-ass soldier who had also previously experienced Cage's time loop phenomena, and therefore trains him to be a better fighter in the hopes of finally winning the war. The movie was directed by Doug Liman, whose credits include The Bourne Identity and Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and judging from those two films, you can kinda sense this guy might know a thing or two when it comes to shooting exciting action sequences. But not only is the action as thrilling and intense as one would expect, it could also be very darkly funny, mostly for all the gruesomely creative ways Tom Cruise gets killed on screen. And every time it happens, it just gets funnier and funnier and funnier. But it also doesn't forget the fact that it is a science fiction thriller, and the movie somehow finds that perfect balance between being dramatically serious and outrageously goofy. And it probably would not have worked nearly as well had the chemistry between Cruise and Blunt been non-existent. True, it has been well known for Tom Cruise to perform most of his own stunts, which still kind of amazes me given his current age, but I was equally impressed by how well Emily Blunt could hold her own and play a very convincing badass heroine. We also get a few really good supporting players thrown into the mix as well, like Harry Potter's Brendan Gleeson, Game of Thrones' Noah Taylor, and probably my all-time favorite underrated actor, Bill Paxton, who clearly looks like he's having a lot of fun playing a master sergeant from Kentucky who loves giving Cruise's cowardly character a hard time. It's like if Hudson traded places with Sergeant Apon from Aliens, and somewhere down the line ended up like this. Speaking of aliens, the ones that you see in this movie are just as badass and menacing looking as those pesky xenomorphs. With tentacles as sharp as knives and speed as fast as Sonic the Hedgehog, you immediately get the sense of how truly screwed we are in winning the war against them. So yeah, I've already harked on all the stuff I really enjoyed about the film. Is there anything at all not to like about it? Well, the explanation for Cruise's time loop is a bit far-fetched, and while the ending could have been handled just a tad bit better, I had little to no problems with Edge of Tomorrow. It basically encompasses everything you could want in a summer blockbuster. Non-stop action, genuine suspense, perfectly timed humor, great acting, great writing, great directing. If it weren't for X-Men Days of Future Past, this would be my favorite movie of the summer. So on a scale from 1 to 10, I'm gonna give it a 9.5. And that concludes our show. I'm the host, and I will see you next time on another Midnight Movie Madness.